All right, Jesse on fire. Welcome back to the channel. So I'm just going to tell you guys, I have been putting fire on Jesse on everything lately. Okay, like if you're not subscribed to that channel, I'm telling, like literally, I've watched my own videos multiple times where I've watched because I like just all of a sudden I just hit this stream of consciousness in the last at least the last 2 videos where I've watched them back and I've literally watched them back multiple times. I'm like, this is a ridiculously awesome video, like awesome. Jeffrey Epstein one, new information on Jeffrey Epstein. Start there. Anyway, but let's talk about the fights last night because very exciting. I won both my bets because I bet the underdogs, son. I bet the underdogs both fights. I bet Ortega and I bet Lopez. So I just honestly, okay. So let's talk about Ortega first. Wow, he is a savage, man. Like I was thinking back and going back and watching some of his highlights from his old fights. It's like he was like, I forgot how much he relied on having like a really strong chin and being able to like just take shots so he could get inside and grab guys. I honestly can't believe how good he is. Like now he's so diverse. He's surgical with his striking. He can take shots. You never want to go near the ground with him. He's going to be tough to beat, man. He's going to be tough to beat. Now, Volkanovski is just this little ball of energy that's never going to run out of energy. Like he's incredibly hard to hurt. He never runs out of energy. He's got incredible leg kicks. I'm not necessarily going to pick Ortega to beat him, but man, I would love to see Ortega fight Holloway again. I would love to see Ortega fight Holloway again. I would love to see that. Now, Holloway would I don't know. Holloway seemed to have his number. Holloway's a kind of a nightmare matchup, but that would be an incredible fight. But man, I can't believe how good Ortega looked last night. He looked so good. That spinning back elbow was so crazy, dude. That was awesome. Incredible. I'm proud of him. Like a guy takes a layoff like that, you have no idea. You know how catastrophic for his career it would have been if he lost? You take like 2 years off and then you come back and you lose your first fight against the number 4 guy that, because listen, Korean Zombie is a beast. But he's a number 4 guy. If you take 2 years off, you're the number 2 ranked person and you lose to number 4. Oof. And then that's 2 in a row. You were undefeated and then you lost 2 in a row. He lost his first fight ever and then took 2 years off. I mean, there's so much pressure on that performance right there. And he came out and looked the best he's ever looked, completely reinvented. I love how he said he wanted to not even resemble his old self. Shaved his head, like literally changed his entire appearance. Now, one thing I will say is that I knew. Oh, the other thing too is there was something up with Korean Zombie last night too. His body language was all fucked up. Like I bet Ortega right before the fight when he came out because I watched Zombie come out and like I don't know, man. Like he looked so nervous. And I'm gonna be honest, I hadn't watched a lot of him, like in terms of like really trying to read his body language before, because he might just be one of these guys that doesn't really like to fight. Like George St. Pierre hates to fight. Everybody knows that. He's been very open about that. There are certain guys that are excellent at it. They like to train. They know they're really good at it, but they don't actually like enjoy the act of fighting. They love the feeling afterwards when they've won, but they hate to fight, right? And honestly, my read on Zombie last night is that he's one of those guys. Like he just looked so nervous and you could just see that he was trying to get somewhere mentally and he was struggling. He was really struggling mentally last night. I really could tell that. I don't know if that's what he's always like, but I could tell that's what he felt like. And I saw Ortega come out and he looked so confident. He wanted to be there. Like the only other time I think I've ever seen, the only other times I've seen an entrance when I got very confident in who I thought was going to win was Tito Ortiz versus Ken Shamrock 1. I remember back then that was the event that started it all. Like I watched that event and then I never missed another one. But that was the very first one. And I remember I thought Ken Shamrock was going to win just because I knew who Ken Shamrock was. I'd watched him fighting, in like some of the earlier ones. I'm like, dude, Ken Shamrock's going to crush Tito. I didn't know shit about the sport then. I was just like, Ken Shamrock, he's going to crush him, dude. He's going to crush him. And I saw Ken Shamrock come out and he looked kind of nervous. And I saw Tito come out, by the way, the best entrance of all time. And Tito literally looked at Ken Shamrock like he was a piece of steak he was going to eat. Like I've never been more confident that a fighter was going to beat another fighter after the entrances than I was after watching Tito and Ken Shamrock. Number one. That one, it was just like, oh my God, dude. Tito's going to annihilate him. It's dude, it's infuriating. You can't find that entrance anywhere. I actually have it on my page and that I just took like with a cell phone a long time ago. It has like a 300,000 views because for some reason Dana has like gotten rid of that. You cannot find that entrance anywhere. You can't find it on UFC, like on the app. It's not anywhere on YouTube. It's infuriating. I think it's because he hates Tito, and he knows it's literally like it's the best entrance ever. But Tito, like, you know, they did like the thing was like, and he comes up and he's just like, and he just bounces, and he's got the two flags, and then he came in, and then he got into the cage, takes his shirt off, he looks at Ken Shamrock, and oh God, who's the guy that used to do the broadcast with Joe Rogan, and they got Goldberg, and Goldberg is like, oh, he's ready to go. He is getting ready to go. And Tito just bouncing, and he's just looking at him, and you're just like, oh my God, and you look at Ken Shamrock, and Ken Shamrock's like, oh shit, I actually have to fight this guy. And Tito's again, they could have fought 1,000 times. Tito would have won 1,000 times. The other time that I saw where I thought I had it pegged, and then I went, was Khabib versus Conor. Like that was I watched Khabib walk in, and he was just like, you know, Khabib against Dustin Poirier looked nervous, you know, and I know he was fighting in Abu Dhabi. His dad was there, all that, and he looked nervous in that fight. Obviously, it didn't matter. I mean, he performed really well, but against Conor, when he walked in, I looked. I'm like, oh shit. I was like, because I had a huge crew at my house, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, dude, this guy looks like he looks very, very focused. Like I don't see any emotional chink in this guy's armor. And when Conor walked out, he looked fucking weird, man. Normally Conor, when he walks out, he looks so confident. You know, I'll be honest, the only other time I saw Conor look weird like that was before Cowboy. And I was like, oh my God, is Conor going to come out and look bad? And then Conor fucking annihilated Cowboy, so I don't know. But Conor looked, that Khabib fight, he was off, you know, like I think that he pulled out every card that he had to try to get in Khabib's head, and he's so good at reading people, you know, he's so good at reading people. Like I always know where people are at. I could just look at him and I could tell. I can literally just look at him and I'm like I did with the zombie last night. I knew exactly what was going on with him from the get-go, and I could just look at people and I know. And I know Conor's that way too, and I think Conor pulled out all the stops on Khabib, and then he was just looking at him and he's like, this shit didn't work. Like, this didn't work at all. This is the first time that this has not only not worked, but I think this guy is actually more focused. Like, I think I fucked myself here. Like, this guy looks like he's excited to fight me. And I think Conor knew. I think he genuinely knew that Khabib was in a better mental space than him. But anyway, that's what I saw with Ortega last night, and that's why I bet on him, and I was right. So, now, then Lopez and Lomachenko were on. And I was looking at Lopez, and I'm like, Jesus, I'm like, dude, this guy's a monster. They were showing all his stats. They were showing all his fights. And he looked so confident back there. Now, he's fighting Lomachenko, but Lomachenko's small at 135, man. And I'm like, dude, I think this guy's going to win. And he's a 3-1 underdog. So I bet on him, and he fucking won. He won. He looked so good, man. He looked so good. Like, that wasn't even like, hey, let's see a quick rematch. Like, that was just like, wow, he just decisively beat the shit out of Lomachenko, you know? Now, I will say this. I'm sure they will do a rematch, you know? And Lomachenko's going to have to change his game plan. Like, you know, he was like he said, he's like, I'm going to bring this guy into deep water. Okay, well, cool. You did that, and the guy responded incredibly well. So that's not going to work. Like, you're going to need to get aggressive early on. Like, and when Lomachenko was throwing his hands, he was even or better. He just wasn't throwing his hands at all. So I think Lomachenko can watch tape, come back, and potentially win a rematch. Maybe. But man, Lopez is vicious. He's 23, dude. He's 23. So very exciting. He has the highest power punch percentage of like any fighter. That's something they said last night, which is like power punches landed percentage, like over 50%. Which is crazy. Think about that, dude. 1 out of every 2 power punches you land. 1 out of every 2. You know how much energy that saves? You know how much energy you lose when you throw a power punch and miss? Anyway, great night of fights. Very exciting. That's what I got for today. Go watch Jesse on Everything. Just trust me. Go to Jesse on Everything. Watch the Jeffrey Epstein video. If you don't think it's awesome, then come back here and tell me to go fuck myself, okay? That's what I got. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Peace.